Hello, my darling cherubs. Today we are learning about our next writing unit. We just finished up with the literary essay. You wrote essays on a character analysis, you wrote a thematic analysis, and you did some practice with comparing and contrasting. And now it's time to move on to our next unit, which is all about informational writing. And specifically, you're going to be writing about something called teen activism. Now, your assignment is going to be to open up a document that looks a lot like this one you see here on the screen. And the document is basically something that I made to help you with the note-taking process. You're basically becoming journalists for this unit. You're going to become people who do research and find out information and then make it really clear for others. And so in order to do that, I wanted to give you some sort of organized way to keep track of your notes. So I created this organizer, and you're going to use your resources to fill in the organizer. So what you'll find in Google Classroom is a link to something called a Wakelet. It's sort of similar to a Padlet if you've ever used one of those. It's kind of like an online bulletin board. So you'll open up a Wakelet. It'll look something like this, and I'll provide the link for you. So in my Wakelet here, this one has to do with journalism. So if I open up the Wakelet, I click on the link for the article that says How to Be a Journalist. The Wakelet that you guys have will have two articles in it, so make sure that you are reading both of them. So if you were looking at this Wakelet, it opens up this article when you click on it called How to Be a Journalist. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by taking the title of the article and putting it into your organizer. So this article is called How to Be a Journalist. So I'm going to put in under title and author, How to Be a Journalist. And then it also needs to include an author. Now, if I go back to my source and I look for the author, in this case, it says it's co-authored by the WikiHow staff. So it's not just by one person, it's by the WikiHow staff. Usually the articles you read will be by a single person and you'll just write their name. So you're also going to include the link to the actual website. So I'm just going to copy the URL at the top of the screen and paste it here where it says website link. Okay, so pretty easy so far. Now what you have in these two columns here are main ideas and details. This is sort of a version of something called Cornell Notes. And basically Cornell Notes are where you put lots of detailed items over here on the right, and then you kind of organize those details after you finish, and then you, on the left, classify them through main ideas. So I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But we're going to go back to the article, and what you would do is you would start by paying attention to if there are any subtitles or anything that might help you. So for example, this is called How to Be a Journalist. That's got a big bold title. But then down here, it looks like this is organized into parts. So part 1, improving your writing skills. And then it's got 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps, 6 steps. And then we have part 2, building your interpersonal skills. And then that's divided into steps. So this article is kind of organized for you. Now your goal is to make it so that this article doesn't seem so long and scary for someone else who's reading your notes. The reason you're taking notes is so that later on, if you need to report out on what this article teaches you, you don't have to read the whole article again. You can just read your notes and remember the most important things. So to start, you would want to read the first little bit of the article. In this case, it's this one opening paragraph. And you can see this article is also nice because over here you have a clickable menu you can choose, so you know kind of how it's going to be organized. So it says, how to be a journalist. The field of journalism may be really competitive, but it's also important to society. If you've been bitten by the journalism bug, then you definitely want to do your best so that you can be successful in your field. With a bit of hard work and a great attitude, you can be a good journalist. Now, what I would do after reading that is I would think to myself, is there anything really important in that section that I really need to write down in my notes? And I think maybe what I would say is that first sentence, that it's competitive, but it's also important to society. So I would say under details here in my notes, journalism, competitive, and important to society. Now, something you might notice is that I am not writing full, complete sentences and perfect grammar. For your notes, you don't have to worry about doing that. You want your notes to be all about getting the information clearly written down, but not making it perfect and pretty little sentences. It's so that if a week from now or 2 weeks from now or a year from now you picked up these notes, you'd be able to look at them and be like, oh, okay, I can talk about this. Journalism is a competitive field, but it's also really important to society. Then you're going to go back and you're going to go to the next section, part 1, improving your writing skills. And then it gives you a list of things you need to do to improve your writing skills. So this one says write every day. Good thing you're doing that for my class. So it says journalism consists mostly of writing, whether it's an article or live tweeting a story. You need to be a strong writer who has a voice. And the way to get there is practice. Daily writing allows you to get your practice and helps build your confidence, which is key to succeeding as a writer. And then it gives you a list of things you can do, keeping a journal of your activities, starting a blog, offering to help your friends by completing writing tasks. So I would go into my notes here and I would write down a couple of the things that really mattered from that section. So for example, to be a journalist, oops, you should write daily. And then in parentheses, I'm going to put blogs, um, daily logs, helping friends slash family with writing tasks. So notice how I'm not just copying and pasting things straight from the article. I'm actually putting what the article said into my own words, and that's going to help me to remember it more later on. So you're going to go through the whole article just like I've done here, and you're going to write down the most important things. The article is going to be kind of long, so get yourself accustomed to that. Journalists have to move quickly through a lot of material, and they have to wade through and pull out what's most important. So that's a skill we're trying to get to, and sometimes you have to read a lot to find the really important things. So after I've written down lots and lots of things about journalism from the article, I'm going to start looking over the notes that I took and seeing if there's any patterns that I want to identify. And then if I see that, oh, a lot of things I've written about have to do with what is journalism, I could make one of my main ideas, what is journalism? And then I could organize my details over here so that the things that answer that question are next to this headline. Now maybe later on, I'll write down here qualifications to be a journalist. And then I'll include all the notes I took about that. Now, once I've read the whole article and I get to the end, I'll be ready to write a summary of the article. And the summary should be really short. I would say no more than 3 sentences. And you want to really just pinpoint what are the most important things from this article so that if you're going back into your notes and you've taken notes on lots and lots of articles, you can get the really, really important meat of it by going to the section that says summary. So you're going to be doing exactly what I've just shown you, but you're doing it for the 2 articles in the Wakelet posted in Google Classroom. If you have any questions or concerns, come see me during office hours or send me a Google chat and I'm happy to help. Thanks.